or cocoon in there, but Dwayne Haskins Jr. is considered one of the top 2 or 3 candidates for the Heisman, and there's talk past that. I'm just wondering, what's your sense of how far he's come along, and has he dazzled you in any sort of way?
I think, when you look at somebody who really hasn't played a whole bunch of football, the games that he's played this year, he's done a nice job. And, got hot in this game most recently, but all that's for naught if you don't keep performing every week. And we talk about it all the time, not only as quarterbacks but as a whole offense, is that now is the time in the meat of the season when you got to keep working. You got to pile games and stack them on top of each other at a high level, and that's what makes great offenses, great players, and great quarterbacks.
What have you noticed? Every time we get a chance to talk to you, we ask this question, but what have you noticed he's definitely gotten good at just in the last 3 or 4 weeks? I mean, obviously a huge test at Penn State. Last week things were kind of muddled, and he just started throwing touchdown passes. But what have you noticed has really come along just in his approach to the game more than anything else?
There's a lot that goes with it. I mean, obviously preparing on a week-to-week basis for different styles of offense. That's one thing about college, is that every week in and week out you see so many different styles of offense. It's not necessarily.
You mean defense or offense?
Excuse me.
Defense.
Yeah, defense. Because in the NFL, there's a lot of the same type of defense, where in college there's so many different ones. Some are zone, some are man, some are pressure. So you have to, on a week-to-week basis, prepare at a high level so that you're ready to go. And they change things on 3rd down and in the red zone, so preparing is a big thing. And also managing the game, understanding on 3rd down when it's time to throw the ball away, when it's time not to. A couple interceptions last week that we got to clean up, and obviously as the games go on, those will become more and more important. So a lot to work on, but a lot to build on too.
Hey Ryan, I know that when you're recruiting, you're dealing with a lot of different people, with a lot of different families, and a lot of different people who are affiliated with those families. When you're recruiting, do you just sometimes mesh really well with specific families that they became, maybe is there a line between friendship and being close and being a football coach? You see what I'm saying? Like, can you kind of get a sense for when there's going to be dynamic relationships with people that are maybe
in recruiting?
Yeah,
for sure. I think in recruiting you find certain people and certain families that you just connect with, and you have a lot in common with, and then your relationship goes beyond just the recruiting. I think that's absolutely true. And you just connect with certain people. And the thing that's so great about recruiting a place like Ohio State is we get such great kids and great families here, and that's what makes one of the jobs special.
What do you think the percentage is? Not to put you on the spot, but those dynamic relationships that you can tell are going to be different. Is that a common thing? Does that happen regularly with your guys, or is there like a handful of guys per class that you can really feel like, hey, this is going to be a little bit different relationship besides just me being the kid's coach?
I don't know. I don't know if you can really quantify the whole thing or figure out when that's going to be. I think certain times, there's a bunch of guys that you feel close with, and other times there isn't. So I think it's kind of random a little bit. But again, when you have certain standards, you have certain values, and you're at a place like Ohio State, there's going to be more of those connections made.
Hey Ryan, you talked about how many different defenses that Dwayne has faced. In addition to that, teams now actually have film on him. How is he doing in responding to the fact that teams have undoubtedly made adjustments to what they see on tape?
Yeah, we talked about that, is that going into the season there really wasn't much out there on him. So now that these guys, there's a lot of great coaches out there and professionals out there that are going to go to work on him and try to find his tendencies and the things he does well and the things that are maybe things he needs to improve on. So we're constantly on top of that, recognizing that we have to be able to adjust in game based on what the defense is showing us. Last week they wanted to pressure a bunch, and so we had, we knew maybe going into that game after the Penn State game that was going to be one of the things that we had to respond to. I thought he did a great job, and the offensive line and the running backs did a great job in protection, because they did bring a bunch of pressure, and we did a good job identifying that, protecting.
Ryan, I know you got. How's he doing it?